Before you pack the truck, these 7 Tampa truths could save you thousands, protect your sanity, and prevent you from making mistakes that you'll later regret. I've been through this myself, moving here from Michigan, and now I help families, military relocators, and retirees move here every single week. My job is to help you control the controllables and make this move smooth. All right, let's just rip that Band-Aid off and get to number 1. And number 1 truth is flood insurance. You know, the insurance carriers started leaving heavy hurricanes. They didn't know how to handle it. There's so many claims. And what's happened now is they're all coming back. So things are getting more competitive and the prices are coming down. But all that aside, you as a consumer and someone buying a home moving to Tampa, you have to know what to look for. Any of the states that are on the ocean or on the Gulf, you have to pay attention to that regardless. Whether you're moving to Maine or you're moving to Florida, you have to pay attention to flood insurance. Now, wind mitigation is another thing. We do these 4-point inspections when you buy a home, and you have to make sure that the roof is intact so you can get all the proper discounts so you can get a lower rate, because they won't insure you if you have a bad roof, but they will give you discounts if you have a good roof. So those are things that we have to pay attention to. I've worked with a lot of people moving from out of state into Florida, and homeowners insurance has not been an issue. It's because we know the inspections to get, what to look for, how to price it, how to get quotes up front. These are things you need to know before you consider a move to Tampa. Are you thinking about relocating to the Tampa Bay area? I have just the thing for you. My team and I have spent hours researching and developing a relocation guide, the best relocation guide I think that's out there. And it's for you, for free. Just click the link below and you can have it. Everything from hospitals to where to eat, the beaches. You gotta know about the beaches, the different neighborhoods, different drive times, and of course, shopping. We have it all right here in this guide. So just click the link below or go to the top of the comment section and you can download it there. Hope that helps. You know, one of the best things about living in Tampa is the water, but with water comes risk, and that's the flooding and the flood maps and FEMA and the insurance premiums and all of that. So I do have a myth I want to bust. And what that myth is a lot of people think that insurance premiums are based off of zip codes or areas, but actually it's based off of your address specifically, and it measures distance to water, elevation, and cost to rebuild. So here's our play. Before you go and get emotionally attached on a property, we really should do some due diligence ourselves and cross-check that address versus the FEMA flood maps. Then we check it against elevation, and then we actually get an insurance company involved to get some quotes, because you really want to know everything going into the purchase of your new home. So don't be fooled. Just because you think the neighborhood is not at risk because there's not a lot of water around, it's inland a little bit, doesn't mean it's not at risk. Let us do the research for you. Let's make some good decisions before you get emotionally attached on that property. So quick story, I had this client that came into town. They wanted waterfront lifestyle, found a home really right on the water. But then they checked the insurance premiums. Well, they loved everything else about the neighborhood, the area, the amenities, everything else, but they ended up buying a home just a couple streets back because this home, the insurance premiums were gonna break them. So that's what I mean about controlling the controllables. You have the control, we just gotta make sure we do all the proper research. So Tampa home prices are pocket specific. I get questions all the time, what's happening in the Tampa market? And the reality is, it depends on where you're standing. Tampa is like a patchwork. And where one area might be flat, one might be up a couple percent, and the other area might be down a couple percent, and all of that will change next month. But it seems like these new master plan communities are really holding value because a lot of people are driven by the amenities and by the lifestyle that those provide. So there's really 3 variables that drive the outcome. It's product type, pocket, and pace of sales. So the first one that we gotta look at is product type. Whether you're buying an old style condo, a 1990 build single family home, or something maybe brand new, which is gonna be more efficient and it's gonna be better for your insurance as well. And pockets, I mean, let's compare Hyde Park, like the historic Hyde Park, or maybe something in Riverview, or a historic Seminole Heights. They all behave differently. And of course, pace. Days on market and like list to sale price. It really affects how we negotiate, and it tells us what way to negotiate for you to get the best deal. So what this means for you is we stop arguing with the headlines and we start looking at the neighborhood level data. So when we pull the last 90 days, we can actually see the seller concessions, we can see the price decreases or anything else that's happening in the neighborhood to give us a better idea of how to negotiate for you. If a pocket's softening, we're obviously going to be paying attention to concessions and rate buy downs. But if it's hot, we're going to spend all that energy on terms and speed of delivery of the home. So one of the last clients I have worked with, actually, they reached out to me and they thought they had to wait for the market and they wanted to see kind of where it leveled out. But the reality is they were chasing a lifestyle. And we were able to negotiate so much off of that home because of all the variables that I just talked about, that it made sense for them to make the move now. So everybody's case is different. We don't know what your case is. Everybody's totally different and unique. So reach out to us, and there's a link above. Reach out to us, schedule a call. I'll be happy to work with you, and let's talk on what your needs are and what your goals are. Hey guys, it's Tom. As much as I love making these videos, what I love more is helping families pick up and relocate to the Tampa Bay area. That's why we created TampaRelo.com. And that's why we make these videos, because that is my passion. Make it as easy as possible for you to pick up and relocate to paradise. So whether you're considering moving next week, next month, or next year, do not hesitate to reach out. It's never too early. This is my contact information right here on the screen, in case you missed that pop-up, of course, that pops up throughout the video. But I look forward to helping you and your family. Feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. So number 4, commute planning really beats wishful thinking. We all want to live in the right spot, but we all have a commute, and we have to take that in consideration when moving to a new area that we don't quite know. Or maybe you're in a situation now that you want to not have when you move. Like, I know a lot of people that were in like these 45-minute or hour drives, and they don't want that anymore. When they move to Tampa, they want more time with their family, more time outside and doing things recreational. So here's the deal. The right home with the wrong commute is still the wrong home. So right now, Tampa's got some choke points, and you have to pay attention to these. The Howard Franklin, the Courtney Campbell, the Gandy, and of course, I-275. You can double your drive during peak times. See, construction on the new Howard Franklin Bridge is going to go all the way into 2026. And that's great for later, but we're talking now. We need to talk right now. Is it going to affect your daily drive? And it definitely will. So my process is much like a car dealer. Drive before you buy. But in this case, I'm driving it for you, and I'm driving the location because, let's face it, 8 o'clock from Riverview, 8 o'clock a.m. from Riverview to the airport, or to West Shore, or to MacDill Air Force Base is going to be a lot different at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Friday morning or a Monday morning than it is at 11 in the morning on a Sunday. If you're working hybrid or remote, a lot of people think that it's not that big of a deal. I work from home. It kind of is a big deal because you still want to know where you are to your favorite things, whether it's a gym, a golf course, or a restaurant, or a series of restaurants. You need to know what your commute times are, and that's something we can help you with at TampaRelo.com. So I have a client right now, and her job is in Tampa, and we're paying real close attention to that drive time. The round trip drive time, that could make a huge difference. So currently they were considering Apollo Beach, and they were considering Parrish. Parrish is up and coming, and you get a lot of home for your money. However, the drive from Parrish all the way into Tampa is a little bit too far for them. They would rather spend their time not driving. They'd rather spend their time doing things together and maybe out on the golf course or at Finn's having a pina colada. The reality is we need to get them a little bit closer to Tampa, so we chose Apollo Beach. And that's really what's happening. We have to understand exactly what your needs are, what your lifestyle is, and what's important to you. So unless you have a personal driver and a big old Cadillac that you're getting driven all around the city for, you're probably paying attention to your drive times like the rest of us. And that's important. So remember, we're here for you. We can help you. If that's something that's important, we can definitely set up a call. Just reach out to us and we'll set up a call for you so we can talk about drive times, commute times, and that does make a major decision in where and what you buy here in Tampa. Another truth that you need to know before moving to Tampa is red tide. You know, red tide is a thing, and we didn't really know about that when we moved here. But people were telling us, oh, every 4 years or every 5 years it's red tide. But the reality is it's every year. And the algae bloom, it's a natural occurrence. It's an algae bloom that happens pretty much every single year, but it could be a little bit lighter one year and a little bit heavier another. And it could affect different parts of the shoreline across the Gulf Coast because it is warm water, and you will get an algae bloom. And that algae bloom will cause a lot of other things. So to some people, they get irritated eyes. You could be an hour inland and you could feel it in your throat. You can feel the wheezing. You can feel the eye irritation. It's much like a heavy allergy. But some people, it doesn't affect at all. But what it does do is it will kill a family trip to the beach. Absolutely annihilate a family trip to the beach. You pack up the family, you don't check the website, and you head to the beach without looking, you could be in for a disappointing day. At that point, all you do is shift, go to a river, go to a spring, go to a pool. It's not the end of the world, but it's best to check the website to make sure red tide isn't in when you decided to call it a beach day. Let's talk about schools and address verification. If schools matter for your move, you have to hear this. You know, zones change by the block, even if they're in the same subdivision. I've actually seen families miss their target school by only 3 streets. But before we make an offer, we look at the district's Find My School feature, and we compare that exact address against the public schools, of course, but any choice or magnet schools and their timelines, because that might play a role in your decision making. So a few things to watch for. The required documentation for verification for your address for the charter schools, magnet schools, and even public schools. You have to make sure you got that down pat. But now I want you to think a little bit beyond the school day. After school activity, sports fields, and pickup traffic can all affect your daily rhythm. You know, working with clients that are relocating here, we deal with this all the time. And the real world example for you is I worked with a client recently that we had the perfect house, perfect neighborhood, and it wasn't the perfect school. It wasn't their first school of choice. But all we did is shifted them and moved them a few streets over, and we got exactly what they wanted. The school they wanted, the house they wanted, the neighborhood they wanted. That's how easy it can be when you have an expert on your side. And now for the question of the day. So what brings you to Tampa, Florida? What brings you to Florida? And where are you moving from? I'm genuinely curious. I know what brought us here. And now I love helping people relocate here. So if you have any questions for me, call me, text me, email me, whatever you got to do to get a hold of me. It's pretty easy to talk to and pretty easy to get a hold of. So I'd love to help you if you have any questions whatsoever. A lot of people think that Tampa's job market is all about tourism, but it's actually not. It's about tech, healthcare, finance, and a large military presence. There's a lot happening in Tampa. Tampa's like an extension of Miami, or maybe even a smaller Miami that's much more affordable. But the job market here is thriving with multiple different resources and multiple different things that are driving this Tampa economy. So besides the 5 main drivers for the economy, the 4 I mentioned, plus of course tourism, remote workers have a big presence here. There's a lot of remote workers here, and I love that. I love seeing people working in different spots throughout the city, throughout the suburbs. As a matter of fact, I've seen clients not just move here, but absolutely level up their careers by moving here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. These 7 truths will make everything better. It'll make it easier. If you're looking to relocate to Tampa, this will help you feel more confident in the decisions, understanding where to live, how to live, what your lifestyle demands, commute times, and everything else. Let's book a game plan call. Let's get together. Let's jump on a Zoom and talk about what your goals are for your specific lifestyle. See you on the other side.